our curtain rises, we find Corliss and her friend Mildred down at the bookshop, browsing through the latest drugstore literature on the rental shelf, nudging each other occasionally to read in awed whispers certain, purple passages.
Oh, golly, Mildred. That spot was terrific. How do you find passages like that?
Oh, wait, here's another one. Taking her in his strong arms, Calvin hungrily kissed her soft, yielding lips, while the tropic winds brushed her long golden hair against his cheek. Oh, brother, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. Golly, why do we have to read things like The Red Badge of Courage and Gulliver's Travels in school when there's literature like this in the world?
Well, maybe they figure we couldn't talk about this in class.
Maybe so. Oh, golly, I almost forgot what we came in here for.
Oh, yeah, a book for your father.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you getting him a book all of a sudden, Corliss?
Oh, it was so super of him to give me that charm bracelet. I thought I'd just buy him a present, too. And he loves books.
Well, there are lots to choose from.
Let's see. There's a fisherman's manual, but he doesn't go fishing enough to want that.
Well, why don't you get him a book on law? Lawyers always have just stacks of books in their offices.
Well, Mildred, that's exactly what I'll do.
Let's see. Here's a copy of the state traffic law.
Oh, no, not that. Here's what he'd like. Blackstone, a whole set. He has a set now, but it's so worn and shabby it can't be much good. I bet he'd love a new one.
Looks pretty dull to me.
Well, silly, all law books are dull. That makes them much more impressive.
How much is it?
Oh, golly. $75 for the set.
And how much money have you got?
95 cents.
Maybe you better buy the state traffic laws.
Oh, golly, I wish I had lots of money.
Yeah, don't we all?
You know, Mildred, if books can sell for that much money, think how much the person who writes them must make.
Sure. I heard my father say that a friend of his sold a story to a magazine for $1,000.
Oh, no, not really. Golly, that's terrific.
Yeah. And then they published it in book form, and he made another $2,000, all off one story.
Oh, golly, Mildred. It ought not be so hard to write a book.
Yeah, I don't know, Corliss. I should think that...
I bet all you need is some paper and a typewriter and... Well, you just take a boy and a girl and let them fall in love. I'm going to try it.
What?
I said I'm going to try to write a book.
Oh, Corliss, that's really funny. The idea of you writing a book.
Well, what's so funny about it?
Well, Miss Hilton sent you down to the principal last week because you got a D on your theme in English Lit.
Oh, my goodness, Mildred, you can't get an A every time.
No, but you get a D every time. By the way, what did the old boy say to you? Was he tough?
Oh, no. Mr. Prendergast is really an old dear, even if he is a school principal. He said that he knew I really had talent and that I could do better if I tried. So, if I wrote a book, I'd sort of live up to all he expects of me.
Corliss, a book is lots longer and harder than a theme.
Well, then I won't write a book. I'll just write a story. If they pay $2,000 for a book, well, I only need 75, so a short story ought to do just as well.
What time is it, Harry?
10 minutes past 6.
Oh, I wonder what's keeping Corliss. I told her distinctly that we were having dinner at 6 o'clock.
Oh, she'll be along. Oh, by the way, dear, something very funny happened today.
Yes?
Oh, this is terrific. You'll simply die.
Well, for heaven's sake, Harry, what is it?
It's about old Mr. Prendergast.
Oh, that dear old man. Is he making out another will?
No, not this time. He came up to the office to make a transfer of property, and he and I had quite a confidential chat.
Oh, something about Corliss' schoolwork? Has she been...
No, this has nothing to do with Corliss.
Oh, that's a relief.
It's really amusing. He's such a funny old duck. Lives in a sort of dream world all his own. Did you know he's writing a book?
A book? Something about education?
Oh, heavens no. Far from it. That's the last thing in the world you'd expect from the old duffer. Seems he's always wanted to write a romance, so he's spent his evenings for the past year or so writing the darndest novel. Not for publication, understand, but just to get it off his chest. Of course, he made me listen to the whole plot.
Well, was it good?
Oh, Janet, it's simply terrible. But I had to listen. Oh, he made me swear on my word of honor I'd never tell anyone about it. You never heard such fantastic drivel in your life.
Well, dear, I think you could tell me. After all, I'm your wife. What's this book about?
Honestly, the title alone would knock you over. It's purple passion flower. Can you tie that?
Oh, no.
Isn't that something?
Go on, Harry. Tell me the plot. Sounds fascinating.
Let's see. The chief character is Drexel Farnsworth, who is the black sheep son of an English baron. When I say black, I mean black.
Yes.
Yes. So this...
I'm awfully sorry I'm late. Hello, Daddy. But I just forgot what time it was, and that's why I'm
Corliss,
late.
your father's telling a story. Sit down, dear.
Oh, I'm sorry, Daddy.
Go on, Harry.
Well, as I told you, this character, Drexel Farnsworth, is a black sheep. So his father kicks him out of the castle, and he goes to sea.
To see what, Daddy?
To sea, my child. S-E-A.
Oh, I see. I get it.
All this takes place about 200 years ago. Well, anyway, Drexel assumes another name and goes to sea and becomes a pirate, first class. And pretty soon he's known far and wide as Ramos Ramirez, the scourge of the Caribbean. Oh, I forgot to tell you, he operated in the West Indies.
Uh-huh. Go on.
Well, he turns out to be quite a guy. When he hits port, they lock up the women and barricade the doors because he had a habit of choosing the prettiest girls and sending them away to his island hideout.
Oh, dear me, what a story. Go on.
Well, all goes well till a new governor comes to the West Indies, and of course he turns out to be old man Farnsworth, the boy's father. And he swears to hang Ramos Ramirez by the neck until dead for his crime. Little dreaming, naturally, that it's his own son, Drexel. But the interesting part is, after his first wife died, old man Farnsworth married again. A very young and beautiful girl who used to be engaged to Drexel before Papa threw him out on his ear. Well, this is a little too much for our hero.
Aha, the plot thickens.
Oh, go on, Daddy.
So, Drexel lays siege to the governor's palace, hangs his father, burns the town, and kidnaps the girl. Takes her to his lost island and makes love to her in the tropic moonlight, happily ever after.
Oh.
And that, roughly speaking, is the story entitled Purple Passion Flower.
That, Harry, is some story.
I thought you'd get a kick out of it.
Oh, Daddy, that's perfectly wonderful.
What?
I really never dreamed you could make up stories like that.
Well, Corliss, I didn't...
Harry, remember your promise.
Yes, well, what I mean is, sure, Corliss, I often treat of things like that.
Oh, I think it's perfectly wonderful.
I'm glad somebody thinks so.
It's simply super. Why did you write it up and sell it to a magazine?
Because, Corliss, I haven't the liberty to do so. That, among other reasons.
Oh, Daddy, that's a shame. A story like that shouldn't be wasted.
Liz, Corliss, that's a 10th sheet of paper you've thrown away.
Dexter, when I said you could come in here with me, you agreed to remain perfectly quiet.
Gee whiz, I just came over to ask you to go down to the drugstore for a soda, and I've been here an hour, and you haven't said a word to me, hardly. You just sit there and tear up paper.
This is something very important, Dexter.
Well, at least you could tell me what you're doing.
Oh, all right. I'm writing a story.
No kidding.
Uh-huh. At dinner tonight, Daddy told Mom and me the most wonderful story he dreamed up, all about the son of an English baron named Drexel Farnsworth, who was a pirate and kidnapped his father's wife. Oh, it was really a pip. And I'm writing it down, and I'm going to sell it.
But, gee whiz, that's your father's idea.
Well, the only reason I'm writing this is to buy him a present, and he can't object to sort of helping me out when it comes to an idea.
But, Corliss, your old man might want to write this story himself.
Well, I asked him why he didn't write it, and he said he didn't have the liberty to do so. He's frightfully busy these days.
Oh, golly, Corliss. The first few pages of this sound terrific. How much longer do you think it'll take?
Well, she's been working on it 2 days now. It ought to be finished soon.
Dexter, I can't do my best work if you rush me. Mildred, how do you spell voluptuous?
V-O-L... why don't you make it slinky? That's easier. Oh, gee, Corliss, this is just super. How did you think it up?
Well, the plot is really Daddy's, but since I'm writing this just to buy him that set of Blackstone, well, I didn't see any harm in sort of using his idea. Then I just remembered some of those love scenes we read down in the bookshop.
Drexel stood there in the patio with the sun gleaming from his bronze shoulders, and withdrawing his cutlass from his scabbard, he faced his father.
Oh, this is the best part right here.
Screaming, the lovely Irene threw herself at Drexel's feet and fled for mercy. Drexel smiled and, lifting her up, held her close in his arms, kissed her eyelids, and then... Holy cow, Corliss.
Isn't it wonderful?
Holy cow.
Have you thought of where you're going to send it, Corliss?
Not yet.
What about Harper's Bazaar?
Oh, they just have fashions and things. They don't go in a lot for passion and stuff.
Liberty?
I don't know. You have to have a drag to get into Liberty.
Oh. How about the American?
Sure, that's a good magazine, all right, but golly, it only comes out once a month, and I've got to have the money sooner than that.
Well, here's an idea. I don't know why we didn't think of it before.
Oh, what is it?
Why, the newspaper, of course. Look, they print stories. Why don't you send it to them?
Sure, Corliss. They got a short story page. See?
Oh, uh-huh.
Look what it says. To promote and encourage the development of new writing talent.
Well, I'm certainly new writing talent.
Well, anyway, you're new.
And only first published stories by new authors will be accepted. Well, golly, that's a wonderful idea. And with the newspaper coming out every day, well, gee, I ought not to have to wait so long for the money.
If they print it.
Of course they will. Oh, golly, I can hardly wait. This'll show Miss Hilton I can do better than a D on that old theme. And golly, won't Mr. Prendergast be thrilled? Oh, dear. I wonder who that can be.
You might answer it and find out.
Okay. Hello?
Is this the Archer residence?
Yes, it is.
I'd like to speak to Miss Corliss, Archer, please.
Well, this is she. Or should that be her? Anyway, it's me.
Well, Miss Archer, this is the short story department of the Daily Chronicle.
Oh, golly, it is. Oh, Dexter, it's the paper calling. Yes?
Well, we received a short story from you in the mail a few days ago, Miss Archer, and we wanted to notify you that we're going to use it on our short story page next Thursday.
Honestly? Oh, that's simply too wonderful. My goodness.
Yes, Corliss, what is it?
Be quiet, Dexter. Next Thursday, you say?
Yes, next Thursday. And we'd like to get some biographical information about you. Now, would you please answer a few questions?
Of course.
How old are you, Miss Archer?
Well, I really look much older than I am, but, well, I mean, everyone says that when I wear my hair up.
We're only interested in your age and years, Miss Archer.
Well, you can say that I'm practically 16.
Age 15. Now, I wonder if you have a picture you can let us have, Miss Archer. We'd like to run it with your story.
Picture? Oh, yes, I have one. It's terribly young looking, though. If I had time, I could have something more sophisticated taken.
Well, we'd like one of you just as you are. We'll send a boy out after it this afternoon. Well, congratulations, Miss Archer, and thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Goodbye.
Well, holy cow, Corliss.
Oh, Dexter, isn't it simply too wonderful? I'm really an author.
Gee whiz, that's swell. When did they say they were going to print your story?
On Thursday. Oh, isn't it just too thrilling?
Well, look, aren't you going to tell your mother?
Oh, no, Dexter. I'm going to wait till Thursday and let her be surprised. Golly. I wish I had a more mature-looking picture to give him. This one here on the piano is all I have. Dexter, I wonder if any other authors wear hair ribbons.
Well, Corliss, here it is, tonight's paper.
Oh, let me have it. The suspense is awful.
Hey, wait, that headline.
Dexter, you can read the war news later. Editorial, society page.
Here's the comic.
Financial page. Here it is, short story. Oh, Dexter, look.
Holy cow, they did print it. With your picture and everything. What's it say under the picture?
Let's see. Story by one of the youngest writers ever to appear on this page. While the story leaves much to be desired in the matter of technique, the plot shows evidence of great imagination, and some of the love scenes are strangely mature to have been written by a girl so young.
Does it say anything about paying you for it?
Let's see. In payment, we are sending Miss Archer a check for $5. Oh, Dexter, they're actually paying me for it.
Corliss? Oh, Corliss, where are you?
Out here on the porch, Mom. Come here, quick.
What's the matter, Corliss? What is it?
Oh, Mom, it's the most wonderful thing. I've become an author.
What?
Here. Look at the paper.
Purple Passion. Oh, Corliss.
Isn't it simply too tremendous for words?
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, Corliss, you don't know what you've done.
Well, what do you mean,
Answer the
Mom?
phone, will you, Dexter?
Yes, Miss Archer.
Well, go.
Oh.
I thought you'd be proud of me.
Oh, wait till your father sees this.
Well, gee.
It's your father on the phone, Corliss. He wants to talk to you. Here, take it.
Oh, golly. Hello, Daddy. Did you by any chance see...
I certainly did. Corliss, for the sweet love of heaven, why on earth did you do such a crazy thing? You are the most...
Oh, golly, Daddy, what are you so mad about? I mean, anyone would think I'd committed a crime.
And they'd be right. You have committed a crime.
Well, what crime?
Plagiarism.
But, Daddy...
Corliss, I want you to come down to the office right away. Grab the first bus.
Golly.
What's up, Corliss?
Golly, I don't know. Daddy was simply livid. He said I was guilty of pellagra or something.
Pellagra? That's no crime. That's a disease. It's often fatal.
Oh, golly. It sounded fatal, too. Oh, hello, Miss Hibbs.
Hello, Corliss.
I think Daddy wants to see me. He told me to come down right away.
Yes, he's expecting you, Corliss.
Shall I go in now? I mean, is he alone?
No, Mr. Prendergast is with him.
Mr. Prendergast? Oh, golly, is it about the D I got in English Lit?
You better go in and find out.
Oh, yeah, I guess I better.
Come in.
Hello, Daddy.
Oh, there you are. Come in.
Yes, please. Good afternoon, Mr. Prendergast.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Prendergast, I already told you how sorry I am about that D I got in English Lit, and honestly, I took everything you said to heart, and
I am not here to discuss your schoolwork, Corliss.
Oh, golly, that's swell. I was afraid that...
Corliss, sit down and stop jabbering.
Yes, Daddy.
Mr. Prendergast saw the afternoon paper, Corliss, and he's here to discuss that.
Well, golly, did you like it, Mr. Prendergast? Did you like it, Daddy?
Corliss, for the sweet love of heaven, why do you do such insane things?
Well, are you mad because I swiped your idea?
Oh, unfortunately, Corliss, it wasn't my idea that you swiped. It was Mr. Prendergast's.
Golly, Daddy. You mean you swiped it from him?
Some time ago, Corliss, I told your father in strict confidence the theme of a romantic novel upon which I was engaged.
Mr. Prendergast. You mean you dreamed up Purple Passion Flower?
Well,
Golly, I never thought you had it in you. But, Daddy, when I asked you who wrote it, you never told me that Mr.
My child, I never even realized you were listening so avidly and with such ulterior motives. And it seemed more simple at the time to claim that I'd written it than to reveal the fact of Mr. Prendergast's authorship.
Oh, golly. We are in a mess, aren't we?
what I resent so bitterly, Mr. Archer, apart from the betrayal of my confidence, is the way I'll be ridiculed.
Well, just to keep the record straight, Mr. Prendergast, the story was published under my daughter's name. If anyone's ridiculed, it'll be Corliss.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's a wonderful story, Mr. Prendergast. Mildred was terrifically impressed, and the only one who thinks it stinks is Dexter Franklin. And surely you don't care what Dexter thinks. Mildred says...
Corliss, be quiet. Fact remains that you've published a story of which Mr. Prendergast is the author, and that is what is legally known as plagiarism.
But, Daddy, I wrote it all by myself, even if it was Mr. Prendergast's idea. I know. Wouldn't it make it all right if I split the $5 with him?
Excuse me, Mr. Archer, but there's a man here to see you.
I can't see anyone, Miss Hibbs, until this matter's straightened out.
The man really wants to see Corliss, Mr. Archer, and it's about her story in the paper.
Oh, it never rains, but it pours. All right, Miss Hibbs, send him in.
Yes, Mr. Archer. Will you go in, please, Mr. Miller?
Yes, thank you.
This is Mr. Miller, Mr. Archer.
How do you do?
How do you do? When I called your house, Mr. Archer, Mrs. Archer said I'd find both you and your daughter here. I suppose this is Corliss?
Yes, sir.
And this is Mr. Prendergast, Mr. Miller.
How do you do, Mr. Prendergast?
How do you do?
I suppose, Mr. Archer, that since you are not only her father but also a lawyer, you take the responsibility for Corliss in legal matters?
Yes, Mr. Miller, I'm afraid I do.
Yeah, that's fine. I represent the Ace Motion Picture Company.
Don't tell me the plot was stolen from you, too.
No. But it happens that this is the kind of a story that Ace is interested in. Now, I happen to be in town, read this story, and I said to myself, this is it. Terrific publicity angle. Story written by a schoolgirl of 15 who puts the hero of her imagination on paper. She's young, beautiful, talented. Well, I phoned Hollywood, and they liked it. Thought the whole idea was terrific. So they authorized me to buy an option on the story right away.
Authorized you to...
What? Oh, I realize it's not really great literature, Mr. Archer, but it's the plot we're interested in. Now, I'm prepared to offer Miss Archer $100 for a 30-day option.
I beg your pardon. Did you say 100?
That's what I said. That's correct.
Oh, golly, that's just super. But Mr. Miller, the story isn't really mine.
Oh, it isn't?
Mr. Prendergast here really wrote it. It was all a terrible mistake. I just sort of accidentally borrowed it. Kind of.
Oh, is that so? Well, then you're the real author.
Yes, I believe I am.
Well, that alters the publicity campaign somewhat. You see, you're not young and beautiful.
No, I'm not.
It's too bad. However, since it's really the story we're interested in, I'll offer you the same amount for the option, Mr. Prendergast.
Why,
Just a moment. As Mr. Prendergast's attorney, I think we'd better discuss this further. My client couldn't possibly give you an option at less than $200, Mr. Miller.
Oh, but...
Very well. 200 it is.
And the price if the option is taken up?
Well, now, what would you say to 1,500?
Why, my dear Mr. Miller, we couldn't consider less than 25.
Well, you drive a very hard bargain, Mr. Hatchet. But, 2,500 it is.
$2,500?
That's right, Mr. Prendergast. If you agree, we can draw up the papers right now.
Oh, I agree, all right.
Good.
I'll just leave the details to you, Mr. Archer.
Daddy, is it all right if I go now?
Why, yes, Corliss, unless Mr. Prendergast has something further to say to you.
I think I'll speak to Miss Hilton about that D on your theme, Corliss. Anyone with your imagination obviously rates better than a D.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Prendergast.
And about that $5, you just forget about returning it, and here's 10 more as a sort of commission.
Oh, golly, thanks. $15. See, Daddy, I knew I could make some money writing.
You've been listening to another adventure with Corliss Archer, coming to you from the stage of the Globe Theatre.
Highways are happy ways when they lead the way to home. Highways bring happy days to the weary hearts that roam. And as you travel along those ribbons of gray, they all unravel and pull you homeward to stay. 'Cause highways are happy ways when they lead the way to home. Highways are happy ways when they lead the way to home. Highways bring happy days to the weary hearts that roam. And as you travel along those ribbons of gray, they all unravel and pull you homeward to stay. 'Cause highways are happy ways when they lead the way to home.
good. That's what Campbell Soups are. Good.
Campbell Soups invite you to meet Corliss Archer, starring Janet Waldo. And here's Corliss Archer.
Gee, it's good to be back, Mr. Sharbert.
And on behalf of Campbell Soups, may I say we're all glad to have you and your family and friends back with us as, sort of our ambassadors of goodwill.
Oh, Mr. Sharbert, what a perfectly lovely thought. Me an ambassador. What do I have to do?
Just be your own sweet and charming self, Corliss.
Oh, Mr. Sharbert. But golly, there must be lots of new things people ought to know about Campbell Soups. I mean, now that we're all back again.
Well, I'll say there is. Here's some really big news. All 21 kinds of Campbell Soups are back on dealer shelves, so folks can serve just the soup they want when they want it. For instance, they might dress up a very simple meal by serving Campbell's cream of mushroom soup. Okay, Corliss?
Absolutely, Mr. Sharbert. And Mr. Sharbert?
Yes, Corliss?
Do you really think I'm sweet and charming?
As only a 16-year-old girl can be. It's a seemingly normal Friday afternoon at the Archer home. Quiet, peaceful, and serene. You see, Corliss is out somewhere. Mr. Archer is home from the office with a sick headache, and Mrs. Archer is standing by sympathetically.
Oh.
Harry, darling, isn't there anything I can get you?
Yes. A new head.
Well, are you sure there isn't anything I can do?
Oh, yes, I think I'll be all right as long as I'm not exposed to any sudden noises.
Oh, poor Harry.
And speaking of sudden noises, where's Corliss?
Off somewhere. I suppose she's safe behind a soda at Schroeder's.
Good.
Now, you just relax and read your newspaper, dear. I'll see that nothing disturbs you.
Come on, good dog.
Corliss.
Dog, Veronica, Daddy. Your father doesn't... Golly, Veronica, I didn't mean for you to jump up on Daddy. You know he doesn't like dogs on his lap when he's reading his newspaper. Now, down, Veronica. Come on, down.
You might as well let her finish Dick Tracy.
Veronica, get down. Now, you get out to the kitchen. Come on.
Corliss, your father came home from the office with a terrible headache.
Oh, really, Mom? Well, thanks for the warning.
Well, darling, I didn't mean it as a warning. Is that all the sympathy you can show for your poor father?
Oh, golly, Mom, of course I sympathize. Daddy, I'm so sorry. Is there anything in the world I can do?
You could tone yourself down to a mere uproar for a few hours.
I'll be quiet, Angel. I promise I won't make a single solitary unnecessary sound.
Thank you, baby. And go a little easy on the sounds that are necessary, will you?
I'll be as quiet as a clam. Oh, Mom, do you know what's been happening right under my very nose, and I ignored it on account of I had several other things on my mind?
Well, I can't imagine, Corliss.
Well, it seems that Benson's department store is again having the most utterly super contest.
Oh,
not now, dear. You're disturbing your father again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Mom, I'll simply die unless I tell you, because Benson's is actually having its annual photo contest to pick the sweetheart of the year, and I've just got to...
Corliss, your father. How many times must I tell you?
Oh, what's the use, Janet? You can't dam up an ocean with your bare hands. Spill it, Corliss.
Well, Daddy, you remember last year how Benson's had his contest where every boy submitted a picture of his girlfriend and they posted the pictures and everyone voted and the girl who got the most votes was crowned Benson's sweetheart of the year, remember?
I might have remembered before you started that sentence, but I was a young man then.
Well, what I actually mean is Benson's is having its sweetheart of the year contest again. And I'll simply curdle up and die unless I win this time.
Well, who won last year, dear?
Well, it was a neck-and-neck race between me and that Betty Cameron. But merely on account of the fact that Dexter submitted a very bad photo of me. That frizzed-out blonde, immersed triumphant.
Emerged, Corliss. Immersed means all wet.
Daddy, that's an utterly perfect description of her. I think it's Dexter.
You think it's Dexter? Janet.
Yes,
Remind me to ask Bill Franklin why he raised his boy to be a banshee.
Corliss! Hey, Corliss!
Don't you think you'd better scream back at him, Corliss, before the plaster starts falling?
All right, Daddy. Dexter, come on in!
Oh, my poor aching head.
Hi, Corliss. Good evening, Mrs. Archer.
Good evening, Dexter.
Hello, Mr. Archer.
Hello.
Dexter Franklin, where have you been? I've been waiting for you almost all afternoon.
Holy cow, Corliss, you mean we had a date?
Honestly, Dexter, sometimes merely putting up with you requires more than a girl can put up with.
Well, gosh, Corliss, I really don't remember making any date. Well, where were we supposed to go, anyway?
My dear boy, several weeks ago we planned to spend some time together on a very important endeavor.
Holy cow, my memory sure must be getting bad.
Well, Benson's is conducting the voting tomorrow in the Sweetheart of the Year contest, and you haven't even sent my picture in yet.
Well, gosh, why didn't you remind me, Corliss?
Well, really, Dexter, a person can't just rush up to a person and practically force a person to think his girlfriend is something special and worthy of being entered in a Sweetheart of the Year contest. I mean, really, Dexter.
Well, gosh, it isn't too late to enter the picture, is it? I mean, the voting isn't until tomorrow, and this is only today.
Dexter, at times you show a rare gift for analysis.
Harry, hush.
Well, the trouble is, Corliss, I don't have a good picture of you. Every time you get really sore at me, you make me give them back to you.
Well, it just so happens, Dexter, that I have one of my pictures right here.
Oh, swell, Corliss. But we'd better start dashing. Benson's will be closed in a little over an hour.
Here, you can have this one for the contest.
Oh, thanks, Corliss. Holy cow, Corliss. You don't want to go giving Benson's this picture.
And just why not?
Well, gosh, it's, well, holy cow, it just isn't right. Even I can see that.
Really, Dexter, just because a girl's wearing a strapless white bathing suit is no reason for a nearly grown man to yell holy cow and get red in the face like an infant.
Well, I know, but gosh, Corliss, you've got lots of other pictures, haven't you?
Miss Dexter's absolutely right, Corliss. I don't believe it's proper for a girl your age to have her picture displayed in that kind of bathing suit.
But, Mother, if I can wear that bathing suit, why can't I? Daddy.
I'm afraid your mother's right, Corliss.
Oh, golly. Now I won't be able to enter the contest, and that Betty Cameron is going to win again, and I'll practically never be able to show my face anymore.
Well, Corliss, you must have other snapshots.
But, Mother, I haven't one. Oh, please, Mom, can't you sort of close one eye and...
No, Corliss, I'm sorry.
Oh, gosh, wait a minute. I've got a picture of you, Corliss. It's the one that Mildred took 2 weeks ago of you and me together. I've been carrying it with me ever since.
Well, for goodness sakes, where is it?
Right here, next to my heart. No, it's in my back pocket. Here you are.
Oh, Dexter, it's all dirty and creased.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's a shame because it's awfully good of me. I think.
I think it's terrific.
Now, Dexter, if I could just cut you out of it and throw you away. Oh, but no, I'd be all crowded over on the edge.
Hey, maybe we could have a print made with just you in it.
Oh, that'd be a swell idea if we had the time to do it.
Yeah, Benson's will be closing.
I know. Raymond.
Raymond?
Certainly. He's got all sorts of photography gadgets in the cellar of his house. Come on, Dexter. Let's dash right over there and see him.
Now, let me get this straight. You want me to take this picture and reprint it so that Dexter's out and only Corliss is in?
Yeah, that's right, Raymond. Can you do it?
Well, it all depends. You see, I'm awfully busy right now on an important scientific matter.
Raymond, if I were to merely hint to your parents about a little explosion I saw coming out of this cellar the other day, why,
I didn't say I wouldn't.
Then you will?
I didn't say I would.
Well, for Pete's sakes, Raymond, what do you say?
I say it's all very dumb. Why not take it down to Schroeder's?
Because we've got to have it in a half hour. Schroeder's would take a week, so would any place else.
In other words, I'm the only person in the world who can solve your problem.
Yes, Raymond.
Do you agree, Dexter?
Well, sure you're the only one. You... Holy cow, what are you driving at?
How much is your weekly allowance, Dexter?
Why, it's 50 cents. Wait a minute, Raymond. You mean you're going to charge 50 cents for this job?
Don't be dumb. Of course I'm not going to charge 50 cents. I'm going to charge $1.
$1? Holy cow, don't you think that's a little expensive? Even for you.
Prices are up all over. Take it or leave it.
Raymond Ames, there are times when you are positively the biggest little stinker in the world.
Corliss, this is a very dumb time for you to insult me.
Look, Raymond, how about 75 cents and my pocket knife?
Let's see the knife.
Uh-huh. Here.
Blade's rusty. Handle's cracked. Catch is busted. But you're not such a bad guy, Dexter. It's a deal.
I rushed back to tell you, Corliss. It was nip and tuck, but I made it all right.
Oh, thank heaven. Did Raymond do a good job on the picture?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I never got a chance to see it.
You didn't see it?
No, the little stinker left me just enough time to dash down to Benson's.
Oh.
And he said the picture was a little wet, so he put it in an envelope and told me not to touch it.
Oh, I hope that it came out all right. That nasty little child would be just mean enough to do a bad job on purpose.
No, he'd better not have. I didn't pay him yet. I just gave him my pocket knife for a down payment.
Oh, Dexter, you're a darling. I do so want to win that contest.
Hi, everybody.
Well, if it isn't our old friend, Raymond Ames. And just what did you come to see me about, Raymond?
I've got some news for you.
Look, Raymond, if it's for nothing, we'll listen. But if you think you're going to charge for this...
Don't be dumb. I just came over to give you back your pocket knife and tell you that you don't have to pay me 75 cents anymore.
Raymond Ames, don't tell me you have gone soft-hearted.
It's just a matter of business. I give my clients what they pay for or give them back their money.
Just what is that supposed to mean?
Well, you ordered a picture of Corliss.
Yes, with a half of the picture showing Dexter thrown away.
Right. But due to circumstances beyond my control, I made a print of Dexter and threw you away.
Holy cow!
Mistakes happen, you know. Even experts like me make them.
But whose picture was in the envelope Dexter brought down to Benson?
I've been trying to tell you. It was Dexter's.
What? Raymond Ames, you are the stupidest, nastiest, most vicious little boy I ever met.
Don't get excited. Dexter might become famous.
Yeah, famous?
Sure.
Oh, now I'm not in the contest after all, and that frizzed-out blonde Betty Cameron is going to win again.
Don't be too sure. Nothing in the rules against a man winning. If we can swing enough votes Dexter's way, he might get elected Sweetheart of the Year.
Who, me? Me entered in a Sweetheart of the Year contest?
Cheer up. Worse things can happen. Well, bye, Corliss. And Dexter.
Yes?
Good night, sweetheart.
Mushrooms. Now, there's a word that calls up visions of grand, good eating. Good cooks use mushrooms as the crowning touch of flavor for many of their choicest dishes. And say if thinking of mushrooms makes your mouth water, you owe it to yourself to get next to a plate of Campbell's Cream of Mushroom Soup. For here are lots of plump, tender mushrooms blended with sweet cream. Every rich spoonful is just filled with the delicate flavor of choice young mushrooms. And you'll find lots of tender mushroom slices to make this grand soup extra tempting. Good. Well, no wonder more and more people are asking for it. No wonder it's become America's luxury soup. It'd be a fine idea to start supper tomorrow with plates of Campbell's cream of mushroom soup. Well, it's the next day, and the Archers are at the breakfast table.
Eat your cereal, Corliss.
I don't really think I care for any cereal, Mother. I'm actually not very hungry.
Well, it's too bad, baby. What's bothering you?
Daddy, today is Benson's Sweetheart of the Year contest. And after all, when practically one's own flesh and blood can't cooperate to the extent of helping a person to become the Sweetheart of the Year, what is there to look forward to?
Well, surely you haven't quarreled with poor Dexter again.
Poor Dexter. Poor Dexter. Honestly, Mother, the way you and Daddy sympathize with that boy, you think he was your only daughter instead of me.
Well, I'd hardly say that. But I suppose, as usual, Dexter has committed some dastardly crime that's too horrible even to think about.
Oh, Daddy, Dexter was actually only an innocent bypasser. He was that little stinker, Raymond.
Well, what on earth did Raymond do to make you so mad at him, Corliss?
All he did was give Dexter the wrong picture so that when Dexter entered me in Benson's Sweetheart of the Year contest, I wasn't entered at all and Dexter was.
I wonder how Dexter looks in a strapless white bathing suit.
Oh, Corliss, perhaps it's just as well you're not in the contest. After all, dear, you couldn't be sure you were going to win.
But now Betty Cameron's going to win again. I'll die. That's what I'll do. I'll just die.
Well, dear, there's always next year.
Next year? Seriously, Mother, a girl can't go on indefinitely retaining her looks.
Well, don't worry about that, Corliss. If it's any consolation, my next Christmas present to you will be a complete facelifting.
Harry. Honest, Daddy? Will it work?
Well, certainly it'll work. Why, I know a woman of 50 who had her face lifted, and as a result, the most amazing thing happened.
Oh, what?
She now has a daughter older than she is.
Oh, Harry, sometimes you're so silly.
Well, I'm off to the office. Can I drop you anywhere, Corliss?
Well, if you're going past Schroeder's drugstore, Daddy, I'd appreciate a lift. Mr. Schroeder posts the return so we don't have to hang around outside Benson.
Well, come on, baby. Here's 50 cents. I'll drive you down to Schroeder's where you can drown your sorrows in the biggest, thickest, gooeyest, double-rich chocolate malted milk you've ever had. Well, here you are, baby. Schroeder's drugstore and gabble shoppy.
Thanks for the lift, Daddy. I'll see you at dinner.
All right, Corliss. And, baby, although I think you're too young to have anything but friends, I can't help wishing confusion to your enemies.
Oh, thanks, Angel. You're the most understanding daddy in the whole wide world.
Bye, dear.
Bye.
Hey, Corliss. Before you go in, I've got a proposition that might interest you.
I have had enough of your fake propositions to last me a lifetime, Raymond.
Look, let's not waste words hating me. Here's my proposition. You'd give your right eye if Betty Cameron would lose this contest, wouldn't you? Right?
Really, Raymond, I don't see why the affairs of your elders should be the least concern of yours.
I can fix it so Betty loses.
How?
It's a trade secret. But all I want from you is a promise.
What sort of a promise?
You remember you mentioned something about a certain explosion in a certain cellar?
Oh, that. What about it?
Well, in return for swinging the contest away from Betty, you must promise never as long as you live to allude to refer to, and above all, not to tell my parents about said explosion. Which was caused by a little carelessness with the chemist, he said.
And you'll keep Betty Cameron from winning if I merely promise that?
I will.
I promise.
It's a deal?
It's a deal. Oh, and I think you ought to know that I'd never have told your parents about the explosion anyhow.
Well, in my business, you can't afford to take chances. isn't it exciting? Corliss, what's this I hear about you not being entered in the Sweetheart of the Year contest?
Well, I'm not. And there's a certain little stinker running around loose that I can thank for it.
That can only be my darling little brother Raymond. Corliss, did he pull one of his tricks on you?
Well, it could possibly have been an honest, simple-minded mistake, but with Raymond, who knows?
Honestly, that child. Yesterday I overheard Dad tell Mom that he wouldn't be at all surprised if Raymond wound up as the youngest inmate in the history of Alcatraz.
Really, Mildred, you and your mother and father are such nice people. It's hard to imagine Raymond is even a distant relative.
Dad says practically the same thing. I've heard him say 100 times that the stork that brought Raymond must have come to the wrong house by mistake. Oh, by the way, Corliss, are you still on speaking terms with that drip Dexter?
Well, of course. Why?
Because he's standing in the doorway with that frightened look he gets when you don't talk to him for a minute.
Oh, the poor darling. Dexter? Oh, Dexter, over here.
Oh, hello, Corliss.
Hi, Dad.
Fancy meeting you here. Hi, Mildred.
Dexter Franklin, what on earth's the matter with you? You're as nervous as a cat who's misplaced her kitten.
Yeah, am I?
Probably a guilty conscience.
Oh, no, it isn't that, Mildred. Corliss knows what it is. It's that little stinker, Raymond.
What's the little crime wave done to you?
I'd rather not say. The fewer people who know about it, the better.
Mildred, Dexter has the honor of being the only man entered in the Sweetheart of the Year contest.
Holy cow, Corliss, do you have to tell everything you know?
You mean Dexter might become the Sweetheart of the Year? Oh, no.
Holy cow, Corliss, see what you've done.
Oh, she was bound to find out sooner or later anyway.
Oh, gosh, if I get so much as one vote.
Oh, look, there's Raymond.
You just ignore him. Sometimes he goes away.
Oh, I want to speak to him. Raymond! Hey, Raymond!
Hi, Corliss. Well, a friendly little gathering. Yes, and please don't join us and make it unfriendly.
Raymond, have you got any news?
About our private little matter, nothing definite. But the wheels are turning, Corliss. I've just brought the returns over to Mr. Schroeder, and he'll read them in a minute.
Oh.
Boys and girls, I suppose you'd like to hear about the early balloting of Benson's Sweetheart of the Year contest.
Oh, I think we would.
Joanne Summers, 22. Ernestine Fuller, 27. And Stebbins, 19.
Oh, that's swell. Duchess Cameron is being totally ignored.
Betty Cameron, 76.
Raymond, you said that you...
Dexter Franklin, none.
Raymond, I'm going to take a poke at you for this if I have to wait for you to grow up.
Raymond, did we make a solemn deal or did we not? And if we did, how come Betty Cameron's in the running?
Just remember, Corliss, the wheels are turning.
Boys and girls, the semifinal return. Joanne Summers, 88. Ernestine Fuller, 102. And Stebbins, 117.
Washington High finally crashed through.
Jacqueline Pruitt, 67. Betty Cameron, 194.
Well, I don't see what there is to cheer about.
It just shows what you can do with a bottle of peroxide.
I'll never give up wondering what people see in her.
Say, Mr. Schroeder, you didn't read off all the returns, did you?
All that came in, Martin. Just waiting on the finals any minute now.
But what about Dexter Franklin? I voted for Dexter 3 times myself.
If that lummox Martin Wilcox knows what's good for him, he'll keep his big mouth shut.
I guess Dexter just isn't in the running, Martin.
Well, I don't see why not. He's a sweetheart if I ever saw one.
You can carry that kind of talk too far, Wilcox.
Oh, for Pete's sake, you don't have to get sore about it, Franklin. Maybe you can be Sweetheart of the Year next year.
Wilcox, you just say sweetheart one more time and I'm coming over.
Dexter, I absolutely forbid you to use violence in front of ladies in this store. If you and Martin want to fight, do it after the contest outside.
Where we can all watch.
Mildred, where could that Raymond have gone to?
Probably under some rock. Oh, Corliss, look. Huh? It's Madame Pompadour Dubarry Cameron herself.
Oh.
And she's coming over to show off a little bit, I'll bet. Well, Mildred. Hello, Betty.
And Corliss.
My dear, it's been ages. I've missed you terribly.
Really?
Well, Betty, it looks like you've outsmarted the voters again.
How do you do it? With mirrors?
No, dear, with photographs. By the way, dear, where was your photograph? I looked all over the board and couldn't find it.
Well, I didn't enter the contest, Betty. I figured the only way anybody ever wins is by simply begging one's friends to vote for one.
Oh, was that the reason? I had the silly notion that after last year's contest, you decided it was all utterly hopeless. Well, au revoir, Corliss, dear, and I hope you don't get too ill from eating all those sour grapes. Goodbye, Mildred.
Oh, it's positively sinful the amount I hate her.
Oh, she's just a grade A number one. And here comes another. Hello, Corliss. Back again. You want to see me?
Raymond Ames, I demand to know what happened to our agreement. Or did your turning wheels go boom like a certain chemical set in a certain cellar? If you know what I mean.
My plan worked beautifully. If your brilliant high school crowd wasn't so dumb, you'd have known that we grammar school students can vote in the contest, too.
Meaning what?
Meaning this. The right words in the right places to the right kids made them vote the way I wanted.
Wait, you mean Betty didn't win after all?
The boys vote anyway, I tell them.
But who won? Who?
I see Mr. Schroeder's about to announce the final official return. I suggest you listen.
All right, quiet. Everybody quiet. The official final returns in the Benson Sweetheart of the Year contest are as follows. Joanne Summers, 112. Ann Stebbins, 117. Ernestine Fuller, 137. Betty Cameron, 225. Quiet. I have one final name to call.
Another name. Holy cow, what suspense.
The last name with 236 votes, the winner and official Benson Sweetheart of the Year is Dexter Franklin.
Dexter, you!
Me, the sweetheart.
Holy cow!
Something to turn an ordinary meal into an event. Remember Campbell's cream of mushroom soup. For here's a soup that gives any meal a luxury touch, a party touch. Just taste that rich, delightful flavor. Plump young hothouse mushrooms blended with sweet cream and all those tender slices of mushrooms. Good. To make a soup so fine is an art. To eat it, an experience in good living. Have you served Campbell's cream of mushroom soup at your house lately? Several hectic and, for Dexter, unhappy hours later, we find the sweetheart of the year taking advice where he finds it.
Honest, Mr. Archer, if my old man should find out his only son has become sweetheart of the year, he'd wail the tar out of me.
Well, don't worry about your dad, Dexter. I'll explain things to him.
You want it on the long-distance phone?
Holy cow, who is it?
Life magazine. They want to take pictures of you actually being crowned sweetheart of the year.
Tell them no, that I absolutely forbid it.
Forbid it? Dexter, one would almost think you were ashamed. After all, Dexter does me to consider, too.
You?
Certainly. When I gave the man the story, he practically promised I could be in almost every picture.
Good. That's what Campbell soups are. Good.
You just heard Meet Corliss Archer, starring Janet Waldo as Corliss with Sam Edwards as Dexter. Meet Corliss Archer is based upon characters created by F. Hugh Herman. Music was composed and conducted by Charles Dance.
Franco-American spaghetti. F-A, Franco-American. F-A, Franco-American. F-A, Franco-American. Back at your grocer's again.
Franco-American spaghetti is back. America's favorite. The spaghetti with the extra good sauce. Ready cooked to give grand, good eating, but quick. Get a can of Franco-American spaghetti.
F-A, Franco-American, back at your grocer's again.
This is Del Sharbutt inviting you to listen in and meet Corliss Archer again next Sunday and bidding you good night.
Will you be my darling, my honey bun?
Will you be my darling, my only one? You've got some love right in your eyes. I've got a heart that's just your size.
Will you be my darling? I think you might.
Will you be my darling and start tonight? Could you learn to love me as I love you? Will you be my darling and make my dreams come true?
Will you be my darling, my honey bun?
Will you be my darling, my only one? You've got some love right in your eyes. I've got a heart that's just your size.
Will you be my darling? I think you might.
Will you be my darling and start tonight? Could you learn to love